Hello everyone. My name is Evan, and welcome to a bit of a different video that I'm doing today. I'm gonna be speculating about the upcoming Danganronpa Survivors Guild chapter 4, what's it called? What's it called again? I want to say Untouched, but that's not what it's called. That's a song by the Veronicas. Unparadise. That's what it's called. It officially releases on the 25th. I think this episode will probably come out the 24th if I do my timing right. If I don't suck at my fucking job. I am recording this, however, on the 16th. Raven once again has said he's going to provide me with an early copy, and I believe today is the day he's going to do that. Today or tomorrow. So once again, thank you to Raven for the early copy. I'll give my proper thanks when the episodes come out. But what I really wanted to do is I wanted to, because I have so many thoughts about this upcoming chapter and some of the things we've seen so far, and I just wanted to get out there. I thought it'd be a good idea to sort of take note of where I'm currently standing on some things and some of my theories and whatnot. I usually try and do that at the beginning of each chapter, like what I did with chapter 3, but that was like 30 fucking minutes of non-gameplay going on in that episode, and it was, first of all, a pain in the ass to edit, I'll say that much. Second of all, probably not what a lot of people clicked on the video for. I appreciate the people who stuck through with it and watched the whole 30 minutes of me ranting and rambling, but I'm pretty sure a good chunk of people either just clicked off the video or just skipped ahead. Maybe not a good chunk, but at least a non-insignificant amount of people, you know? And I have so many things to say about this chapter in particular. I feel like it's gonna be even longer. So I'm gonna do some sort of weird middle ground, I guess. That way, when chapter 4 comes out, I can just get into the game as soon as possible. Because I like doing these speculations. I like doing these theories. I think it's part of the fun of Danganronpa for me. Trying to figure out where the story is going and who will die and who will live and what the mystery is gonna be. But at the same time, I get that's not why everyone wants to watch these videos, but you know. So I'm trying to do some weird middle ground here. I'm experimenting a lot recently with these Fangan videos, in case you can't tell, and there'll be a lot more experimentation in the future with the Tetra video coming out. I actually have a few ideas for like some video essay type things I want to do, and of course we'll experiment with the games we're let's playing with as well. By the time this video comes out, hopefully we'll have like the Ultimatum let's play out, and I have plans for a lot of other things. I have plans for like eternal endings and some other stuff as well. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited, but that's not the point of this video. Survivor's Guild, the game we have already been playing. Let's focus on that. So yeah, this is my weird sort of middle ground. I'm gonna be speculating about the upcoming chapter. I guess this is more of a podcasty type episode. There's not gonna be much going on, visual wise. This is just for those who enjoy me yapping, because I know you're out there. I know you're out there. So if you're one of those people who just enjoy me shooting the shit, then this is for you. If you're one of the people curious about what my speculations, predictions are in chapter 4, then here we are. This is the video for you. So yeah, essentially gonna theorize on the upcoming chapter based on what we've seen on the previous chapter so far, including who's gonna live, who's gonna die. Talk about some other nonsense that's been in my head since chapter 3 ended and the months in between. And yeah, I'll probably give like a quick little recap when we start the chapter 4 let's play, but I won't go super in depth. So again, if you want the in-depth analysis of my feelings, this is where you're already here. So I mean, welcome. And yeah, if you guys like this idea, I'd be so down to do with future Fangan chapters that we play. Not just for Survivor's Guild, but other Fangan as well. This sort of more laid back, casual video. It depends though. It's only going to be for like Fangans that I feel like I have a lot of to say. So don't expect me to do this for like every chapter of like laps or whatever. Anyway, chapter 4. This is gonna be a tough one. I already know it. I can already feel it in my hearts of hearts. This might be the chapter that makes me just cry finally, just over the edge, just tears falling out my face holes. This might be the one. Chapter 4s are usually always the saddest ones for me, whether it be canon or Fangan games. I mean, a great example is like another Chapter 4. That's probably my favorite chapter in that game, honestly. But even in the canon games, we got the case with Sakura's suicide. We got Gundam sacrificing himself to get everyone out of the funhouse. Which one was Chapter 4 and V3? Hold on. Oh, Gonta. Yeah, we got Gonta's death. Oh, yeah. Chapter 4s suck. I mean, even in Live or Die, it was definitely one of the sadder chapters of that game. And in fact, I would probably say it was the first like really super sad chapter. Chapter 2 definitely had like a sad moment there with Sayori's like backstory being revealed. But I think Chapter 4 was the first one that was like truly just a fucking sucker punch. It was the first one that made me realize just how like attached I've grown to these characters. Now, a big reason Chapter 4s are so sad, I think, is because of the themes they often tackle. What Chapter 4 is usually known as the chapter where the buff character dies, which, yeah, that does happen quite a bit. But the bigger overarching theme of Chapter 4 is the idea of, like, I guess self-sacrifice would be the word I would use. Sacrificing oneself for the greater good of the rest of the group. And again, all those deaths I mentioned previously were a great example of that. Sakura killed herself just so that there wouldn't be as much fear and distrust among the group. Gundam committed murder to get everyone out of the funhouse. Gonta wanted to kill everyone in the class trial because he thought the outside world was a living hell and thought he'd just put everyone out of their misery. And yeah, even Live or Die's fourth chapter does this as well. Not only does Pascal just sort of give himself up to Haruo when he sees Haru's intent to kill, but the way Haruo goes about the murder, making meticulous care that no matter what the outcome is, Daichi gets free. Daichi doesn't get executed or anything like that. So yeah, self-sacrifice, big theme in these chapters. And obviously, this is a game that really loves to play with the tropes of typical Danganronpa games. So I feel like this is really gonna be hammered in on this specific chapter. I feel like for the most part they're probably gonna play it straight. Honestly, that's my prediction. Because this game, sometimes they like to avert the tropes, like what they did with the double murder. Sometimes they just play them straight with a little bit of lamp shading. I feel like they're just gonna really play this one straight, but just go super hard into that theme though. For some, that's just that's just my prediction. Raven, he loves our misery. Let's just be real. Let's not beat around the bush. That's what it is. He loves seeing us in pain. I'm kidding. But he does love to play with our emotions. So I feel like he's really gonna do something freaky with with the whole self-sacrifice thing and just, oh man. You may notice too, usually the motives on these fourth chapters are like really crazy. We mentioned the funhouse before, where everyone was forced into essentially starvation if they didn't kill someone. Danganronpa another did a similar thing where everyone was locked into the party room with limited food. Live or Die had everyone locked in these hallways again with limited food and water. There's a lot of forced starvation going on in these fourth chapters, I'm noticing. I'm assuming the motive this time though is gonna be something super super crazy, to the point where it could drive anyone to the brink of desperation, to the point where they'd murder. It's so fascinating how like all the characters in this game are murderers technically. Actually, not even technically. They are all just murderers. They've killed someone before, every single one of them. But yet there's still like they still are like, for most of them anyway. Obviously there's exceptions like Hayato, but there's still like enough like good-heartedness in them that like I don't want to believe that they'd kill again. It's so hard to imagine them even in this even in their second run through of this game getting to the point where they want to kill someone, which I think is part of what makes Danganronpa games fun, like seeing which characters get pushed to that brink. even when we don't expect it. So like it's just crazy that we are flat out told that all these characters have been pushed to that brink before, but I still want to like I still want to refuse to believe that they would do it again. So it's still shocking, like when it's like, oh, you killed another person. Wow. Anyway, I essentially bring all this up because I feel like my prediction for who the murderer is especially might be a little maybe a little controversial, might be a little unexpected. I wanted to bring up the whole self-sacrifice thing because it ties directly into who I think the murderer and the victim is gonna be. And yes, I only think there's going to be one murderer and one victim. Raven's been teasing that there might be a double murder in this chapter because there wasn't one last time. I don't believe him. I'm calling his bluff. I might eat those words in like 3 episodes. We'll see. But I'm calling his bluff for now. I think he's just trying to scare us. At least I hope so. This chapter's going to be sad enough with one murder. This chapter's going to be sad enough with one murder and one execution. We don't need two. I mean, look at the fucking image they're using to advertise it. Like, obviously it's going to be fucking sad. I feel on the brink of tears just looking at this. Look how sad Kokoro is. Oh, I guess Kazuki too. He's not doing so hot. But still, look how upset it's making Kokoro. Okay. So, enough stalling. My prediction for who I think is gonna be we'll just get the big one out of the way first. My prediction for who I think is gonna be the murderer and the victim. Like I said, it ties directly into the whole theme of self-sacrifice. And I actually feel super strong about this prediction. Sometimes when I make these death predictions, it's kind of just a vibe-based thing, you know? Just sort of going off of feels. Maybe sometimes I'll try and use like the tropes from standard Danganronpa to figure it out, but you know, you can't always rely on those for the Fangans. So it's usually just like a fucking vibe thing. Hell, I mean, I only really picked Kokoro in the last chapter as the killer because I was honestly just trying to prepare myself for worst case scenario. I know it's really fucking obvious to have Kokoro die in a chapter called Heart Shaped Box, but you know, it could have also been one of those things where he's like trying to fake us out, like, oh no, it's too obvious Kokoro would die here. So it turns back around from being too obvious to not obvious at all, and then and then when it does happen, it's like, what? Oh, he took the obvious route. You can never be safe. You can never be so sure with these games. Speaking of Kokoro, a lot of people think she's gonna die this chapter. I think she's currently leading the death prediction poll that they run on their Discord again, but they were wrong last time. They vote for her in chapter 3. They were wrong last time. They're gonna be wrong this time too, because I'm telling you right now, and this is guaranteed. I've never been more sure of anything in any of these fangins in my life, which is gonna be incredibly sad when I get proven wrong. But I feel really confident in this prediction. There's some actual evidence I feel like behind this outside of just my gut. Some actual well thought out story, which makes me feel confident saying that I believe the victim is gonna be Kazuki and the killer is gonna be Mamoru. There's still a very okay. There is obviously still always a chance I'm wrong, but I feel confident on this one, and I'd love to see. Either way, it's gonna be a fun time. Whether I'm proven wrong and you all laugh at me, or whether I'm proven right and you're all shocked by by just how inside of the writers' heads I got. I really hope it's the second one. You're all amazed with me and you give me a standing ovation and 1,000,000 subscribers for how cool I am. But why do I feel like it's these two? Well, let me explain it. Sit down. Let me tell you a tale. The idea of self-sacrifice is oftentimes intertwined with the idea of bravery. It is considered a brave notion to off yourself or for the greater good, for the greater good of others to be exact. I feel the theme of bravery and self-sacrifice go kind of hand in hand. And what would you know? There's an entire trio of characters here that's whole thing is the bravery. Each one of the character arcs is about that theme in some way, shape, or form. maybe bravery isn't the best word to use for it, but the idea of like weakness and becoming a stronger person, which I feel like bravery also kind of connects to that as well, you know? So that's what my logic is with this. Now, why Kazuki and Mamoru instead of, I don't know, Kokoro? Uh, I know what you're thinking. Oh, he doesn't want to predict his wife. Ha ha ha. No, fuck you. I predicted my wife last time. I'm not above it. In fact, if anything, it's probably better if I predict my wife so I don't get my hopes up, you know? Prepare myself again for worst case scenario, but I feel super strong about this specific pairing for a few reasons. And again, it's not just because Kokoro gets to live, though that is an added benefit, definitely. I will say though, Kokoro still does have a really high chance of dying. She is not quite out of the danger zone. Like I said, I could always be wrong. In fact, if my prediction is wrong on either of these two, Kokoro probably has the highest chance of being in either slot, which sucks. But it's sort of a double edged sword, you know, because I think if Kokoro can make it through this chapter, chapter 5, Kokoro is not a big enough character to die in chapter 5. Don't take that as don't I mean, she's big in my heart, but like story wise, like chapter 5 is usually when like, you know, like the rival character would die, you know, which in this case would be like Hayato, or like a best friend character such as Alicia, or hell, Gumi also probably has a pretty good chance of dying in chapter 5. There's so many characters that I feel like have a much better chance of dying in chapter 5 than Kokoro. And even if it's none of those three, I could see it being a couple others potentially. And then chapter 6 usually doesn't have any deaths outside of the mastermind, and I don't think Kokoro's going to be the mastermind. At least I hope not. If this is the second time in a row my favorite character is the mastermind, I'm gonna be a little miffed. I'm gonna be a little crossed. But I don't think Kokoro's the mastermind. I've been actually thinking about my mastermind theories lately, so maybe I'll share some in this video. I have one that's like kind of a mastermind theory, but like also kind of not. We'll get to that when we get to that. Point is though, this is like the last chapter I feel like where Kokoro has an exceedingly high risk of death, and I think if she can get through this chapter, Kokoro can maybe possibly, unless you know Raven pulls some weird little stunt and kills half the cast in like chapter 6 for some reason. I think she can make it to the end, which would be fucking incredible. Please, for the love of God, my favorite characters never make it to the end in any of these. I don't know if you've noticed that ever, but the character I initially pick as my favorite, the character that I initially fall in love with from the get go, they never survive to the end, ever. And you know, there's been cases where like I've grown more attached to a different character over time just because I spend more time with them and they become my favorite character. I would say Aoi was like that for a bit, though I'm kind of back on the Chihiro train for Trigger Happy Havoc. But yeah, Aoi's a good example of that. If we're going Fangans, Mekaru is a good example of that. I had someone else as my like instant favorite before they died, and Mekaru eventually overtook them just because I spent more time with her and got to know more of the facets of her personality, you know? So yeah, I've had that happen, but I've never had like my initial favorite go all the way. And Kokoro has just become such like an important character to me. It'd just be so cool if Kokoro would be the first one to do that. I'm imagining a scenario now where I'm about to pull my heart out about Kokoro, and Raven's watching this already knowing that he killed Kokoro off. Just sitting there like, just silently laughing at me. But still, Kokoro has become like such an important character to me, and part of that is just because like I've become so like just interconnected with her in a weird way. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't even know how it happened, honestly. I was just showing love to Kokoro the same way I show love to like any other character that I really like in my mind, and I've just become so like what's the word I'm looking for? I've almost become associated with her in a weird way to some people. It's to the point where sometimes like someone will post like Kokoro fan art in the Discord server, and either Aru or Raven will tag me, which I appreciate because it always makes me happy and brings a big old smile to my face. And then obviously like sometimes Kokoro will just pop up under like my tweets, under conversations that aren't even like related to Fangans or anything. And that's not even getting into the whole Emi Coco stuff, which now I'm thinking about, like, yeah, that only happened in between chapter 3 and 4, really, didn't it? It feels like such a big thing that happened, but no, it's only been like 2 months. Essentially, I talked about this a little bit in the Family Feud video, but essentially, there's now like a Yume ship with my avatar Emily and Kokoro, because I was joking a lot about just loving Kokoro, and I think it was Aru. I think. Hold on, I'm trying to rack my brain. Yeah, it was Aru who made a joke about like me becoming a Yume shipper or something. And then Raven was the one who suggested that Emily would be the self insert avatar sort of character in that scenario. And that, oh my god, that changed my brain chemistry forever, man. I can't stop fucking thinking about Emi Coco now. We By the way, that's the final name we settled on. I know I was using like fucking Emanata in the Family Feud video. Stupid fucking name. Don't even know what I was thinking. Don't let me make ship names ever again. So yeah, these last couple of months I've just been making like fucking memes, and I've been writing I've been writing a fan fiction. Oh god, so fucking cringy when I say it out loud. Whatever, I'm happy, I'm free. No one can judge me from my no one can judge me from my throne. Essentially, if you thought I was obsessed with Kokoro before, these last couple of months it's just become a whole fucking thing. I probably need medical help. But yeah, the point is Kokoro has just become such an important character to me. I want nothing more than for her to make it to the end. Please, God, please. It'd just be so cool if she's the first character that I like instantly attached myself to as my favorite. It'd be cool if she's the first type of character like that can make it to the end in one of these fucking games. Please. I don't know if this is a weird thing to say because like she's not technically my character. I don't know why I said technically there. She's just not my character. I do not own the legal copyright for Kokoro Inada, believe it or not. I have legal documentation saying I'm her number one fan, but that doesn't really do me much good. I sort of almost see Kokoro as like a sort of secondary mascot to this channel though, in a really weird way. I don't know if that's weird to say because she's not my character, but like she's just so entwined with me at this point. Again, to the point where even the creators recognize it. It's crazy. Like I said, there's legal documentation proving I'm her number one fan that Raven made. It's totally legal. You cannot if anyone even tries to argue otherwise, I can sue them. Just trust me. It's legit. But yeah, moral of the story is I want Kokoro to live. But that's not the only. But that is not the reason I did not predict her. Like I said, it would probably be better for my heart if I did predict her. Just in case she does die, I can sort of prepare myself a little bit. This way, there's like a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope that when it gets crushed will absolutely devastate me. But yeah, no, I gotta go with my heart on this one. My Kokoro on this one. I think Kazuki is the victim. Mamoru is the killer. And I think I already explained why I think it's gonna be, members of this little trio. Um, I think I already explained why I think they're gonna be the deaths in this chapter. But the reason I'm picking specifically Kazuki and Mamoru is because they have, I think, the most interesting relationship for like a victim and a killer. Like I said, all three members of this trio so revolve around the idea of weakness and growing braver. Kazuki sort of had a facade that he was this big, powerful man, but that was when he had wealth and influence. On this island where he has none, that sort of all crumbles, and he's beginning to realize just how weak he truly is, and he has to come to accept that. Mamoru, on the other hand, has no Mamoru, on the other hand, has no delusion about his quote unquote weakness. he is actively aware of it and is trying to fight against it and become a better person. Weirdly enough, Kokoro is probably the bravest of the three. Her problem though is that she doesn't really seem to recognize what she does as bravery, because to her it's just like second nature essentially. At least that's the way I view it. I mean, this is what she does. She saves lives. It's just part of her job. It's just part of her life. So yeah, when she sees someone in need of medical help, she's gonna rush in there and get the job done. That's just how she was created. She just seems to undervalue herself a lot, which is really sad to see, but also I relate to it a lot. I want to give her a hug every time I hear her speak bad about herself. And just be like, no, Kokoro. No. She's too good for this world, man. Honestly. On God. Don't take her out of it, please, though. keep her in this world alive and healthy. I think I sort of unfairly implied that Kokoro didn't really have much of an arc, and that's not really true. I think I said in one of the chapter 3 videos that Kokoro is probably more likely to die between Kazuki and Kokoro just cuz well, I think the way I worded it made it seem like Kokoro didn't have much of an arc. But what I was trying to say was when it comes to like actual character growth, Kazuki has the most what's the term I'm looking for? He has the most like erratic change ahead of him. Whereas Kokoro definitely also has an arc there with her needing to like realize, oh, she's a bigger asset to this team than she thinks she is. She is, and her and what she does is really brave and courageous, and she needs to be stop being so like soft spoken and stand up for herself more. I probably worded that badly, but that's like the gist of it. I don't think it's as much of an erratic change. It's like definitely a smaller arc, for sure. Kazuki has a much bigger arc, and then usually in that case, I feel like they'd, most of the time with these Dangan and Fangan games, they would keep the person with the bigger arc, the more quote unquote story potential alive. But now I've sort of changed my mind on that. Now that I've seen how like chapter 3 has played out, and now that we're getting to this chapter, and now that we're getting to like the self-sacrifice chapter, I think it'd actually be a really fascinating ending to both Mamoru and Kazuki's arc if things went down like this. So I'm imagining a scenario where like the motive is really crazy. Maybe it's another time limit motive or whatever. But point is, people's lives are in danger, and hell, maybe to Kazuki, he's probably maybe a bit more worried about like Kokoro than anyone else. But essentially, I'm imagining that Kazuki goes up to Mamoru. They've had their fair share of differences. They've had their fights. They've sort of reconciled in the last chapter. So I'm just imagining, like, after all the things they went through, this would be, like, just a really cool way to end their arc. Kazuki goes up to Mamoru and is like, hey, I need you to kill me so we can get out of this shitty situation. They look at each other, have one last moment of understanding, fully on the same level of one another, and they both do what could be argued to be the bravest thing they've done this entire game. And of course, there could be a lot of debate about whether it was like actual bravery or stupid within the characters of the universe. But the point is, they made a decision. They didn't turn back on it. They made a really big decision, actually, that will forever change their lives. That will end their lives most likely. And I think there's something to be said for that. I just think it'd be just a really interesting way to wrap up their arcs. And like I said, from Kazuki's point of view, I could see him being the type who doesn't really care about the others really, but just wants to protect Kokoro. At least give her a fighting chance, since there's going to be a class trial afterwards, obviously. And it could be just a really nice moment to show just how much Kazuki has sort of learned to appreciate the human connections he's made. He's willing to sacrifice it all for that. And we gotta remember too, he did promise Kokoro would live through chapter 4. I mean, I know we can't always trust these kind of promises in these fangans, but I don't know. I kind of want to believe my man. And the reason I think he'd like ask Mamoru to do this instead of like Kokoro to make sure that I don't know she can get off the island or whatever. I don't know. Again, I just think the sort of dynamic Mamoru and Kazuki have better work for like a killer for this type of sort of like killer victim dynamic that I'm hoping for or that I'm imagining in my head. And again, maybe in Kazuki's point of view, it's probably safer if she's not the killer, since the killers don't really have a great track record with not getting caught. So just sort of optimizing her chances of survival as best as he can. I guess similar logic to like Haruo in Chapter 4 of Live or Die with Daichi, though not exactly like that, obviously. Like I said, I just think it could be a nice moment for both of them to have to sort of end off their arcs because I feel like it's wrapping up. They sort of reconciled in that last chapter. I feel like we're gradually getting to especially with Kazuki. I feel like we're gradually getting to the end of his whole thing, and that it's definitely a sad ending, which I know Raven loves those. I guess I could maybe potentially see him taking inspiration from like another chapter 4 because he does take inspiration from like other fangins as well with some of these, and maybe doing something similar to like what Satsuki and uh, Kobishikawa did, just with like Kokoro and Kazuki instead. Again, Kokoro does have a high chance of death in this chapter. I well stress that, but I don't know. I really like this sort of pairing that I've come up with, and I really like the idea of it. I think it works with both characters really well. It gives a lot of room to play around with the regular tropes of Chapter 4. And I think maybe it could lead to some interesting moments for Kokoro as well. Inspire her continued growth. I don't know. That's what I'm going with. That's my theory. I really like it. If you don't, you can send your hate mail to my PO box. Plus, if things go down this way, this will be the first chapter in which two male characters die, which it's about time we've had that, right? I don't know if that's something Raven is like thinking about as he like comes up with the death order or whatnot. But like, come on, a girl has died in every single one of these chapters. It's not fair, Raven. Stop killing all the beautiful women. It's time for men to have their equal opportunity. Yeah, I mean, thinking about we've had what four female deaths so far, and only two males. At least this way we can even the numbers out a little bit. Again, I don't know if that's anything anyone else actually fucking cares about, but I care about it. I've been noticing, and I want the change. And plus, once again, that means my precious Kokoro gets to live, which is always a bonus. But again, can't stress enough. Kokoro does have a high chance to die, so I should probably prepare myself somewhat. I'm very confident in this prediction, but at the same time, I shan't get too confident, else my hubris will get me. So yeah, that's pretty much my feelings on who I think is gonna die. That's the big one. And like I said, I think there's gonna be some crazy ass motive to lead to that. Because otherwise, I don't think Mamoru would kill, but even if he was asked to, but we'll see. Again, you can never be sure. Oh, plus again, this is the chapter where the buff character usually dies, and Mamoru is the only character that I would consider like buff among the current group. So that's another like sort of indication that Mamoru probably, again they could always avert that trope, but it's another like, another death flag for Mamoru. Anyway, and that is why everyone who voted on the death poll is completely wrong, and I'm right. Just you wait and see. You suckers are gonna be groveling at my feet at my genius. You're all gonna be like, "Oh, I feel like such a fool for thinking it was Kokoro, and it wasn't Kokoro." And I'm gonna be like, "Told you so. You suckers should have believed in me. You should have believed in her. That's my wife. You think she's gonna die that fucking easily? No. Again, I'm gonna protect her. I will send myself into the virtual realm if I need to. Do a few karate moves, scare off any potential killers. As for other things we can probably expect to see in this chapter, we should probably talk about some different characters now. Rui and Alicia, they're gonna make up probably. Well, they always sort of made up, but now they're probably gonna like actually fully like have full on conversations again, which is gonna be nice. Last we left off, Alicia passed out in the trial room, so I'm assuming this chapter is probably gonna open like afterwards, probably in her room with Rui watching over her. Maybe, I don't know. I think that could be a nice scene. Or it'll probably just be the next day. Either way, they're gonna have a chance to have a deeper conversation. We'll see if their sort of relationship continues. I think things are still gonna be awkward for them for a little bit. I feel like, but hey, it'll be nice to see them uh getting back to friendly levels. They're a cute couple. I love them. I wish nothing but the best for them. And because they're going to get on more friendly levels, I think we can definitely expect to see Hayato being a little clingy, jealous bitch. I'm very excited to see what kind of weird antics Hayato pulls to sort of if they do get back on like friendlier if they when they do get back on friendlier terms, or hell, even if they get back into their relationship, we'll see how that goes. I think they might even kiss this chapter. You know what? I wasn't gonna. That's one that just came to my head right now. But I'm gonna. That's gonna be another prediction. I think Rui and Alicia are gonna kiss. Not Hayato. I don't know if you thought I meant Hayato. I'm sorry. That was me poorly wording my phrases. But Rui and Alicia are gonna kiss. I'm gonna call it right now, or at the very least kiss. I guess they could always do more than kiss too. But like at the very least they're gonna kiss. I don't think Ruby's gonna kiss Hayato though. Hayato ain't gonna get any action, unfortunately. Not with consent anyway, but as we all know, Hayato does respect consent, so yeah, he ain't gonna get any action. I'm also really interested to see where the whole Gumi thing goes. Gumi is sort of becoming speaks. We talked a little bit about how Raven could potentially take inspiration from Danganronpa another earlier. Gumi is definitely becoming a Kinjo type character. 100%. She's going full blown crazies, and I only see that getting worse now that Boleslaw is not there to so oppose her and be her opposite. It definitely won't help too that she was technically right about Rui being sort of unfit for the last trial, considering how easily he fell for Boleslaw's manipulations and how Boleslaw sort of used everyone's trust in Rui to change the course of the trial. He really played fucking 5D chess with us. Actually, fuck it. That was more like 6D chess. That last trial was fucking insane, man. Honestly, though, one of the coolest fucking trials. Like, the more I think about, one of the coolest fucking Fangan trials ever. Just the way Boleswad is so, just the way the manipulations in play to the point where he's even like manipulating the player themselves to a certain extent. Fucking insane. It's such a fucking well-written, crazy trial. It's crazy to go back to Live or Die Chapter 1 and then compare it to this. It's like, oh my god. They've come so fucking far, dude. I love to see it. I honestly love to see it. But yeah, Gumi's definitely gonna be. She's gonna be a bit scary this chapter. I can already feel it. She's probably gonna put some really restrictive orders on everyone. Just typical Kinjo fascist excess behavior. And again, it doesn't help that she has technically been vindicated in almost all her predictions. Even if she is a little bit of a jerk about it, like she is kind of right. Sumire probably wouldn't have died if she was a little bit more careful. Everyone's trust in Rui did almost fuck everyone up during the trial. She has been vindicated. It's gonna get to a point definitely where like backfires on her, and I'm very curious when that point's gonna be. It may even start in this chapter. We'll see. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how Gumi evolves. I did not expect. It's so crazy that like sort of I mean I know she's not really the protagonist of the previous game, but like it's so crazy that, but it is really crazy that this sort of version of the previous protagonist is like now becoming this sort of antagonist. I think that's really neat and interesting. And I love Gumi. I'm always gonna love Gumi, but she is starting to make me a little fearful. And now it's getting to a point where I sort of like hate her, but like sort of a love hate, like I like with Kinjo, because she's just such a well written villain. Like I'm just fascinated. I want to see more of her. I want to see where it all goes. What kind of drama awaits because of what she's doing. So yeah, we're definitely gonna get a shit ton of that this chapter for sure. And then as for other stuff, I don't really know. I think those are like my big predictions. Is we're gonna get more Gumi shenanigans. Kazuki and Mamoru are gonna die. Ruya and Alicia are gonna kiss. For sure, just trust me. Oh, this was the art contest. There's gonna be this. I'm very curious to see what lines the winners of the art contest added to this chapter. In case you don't know, they had an art contest recently to celebrate a follower milestone on Twitter, and the top five I think got to put got to have some input on some dialogue in this game in this chapter. So I'm curious if we're gonna be able to like. I kind of want to try when we play the chapter, see if I can pinpoint which ones were like influenced by the art contest winners. There was so much good pieces for that art contest. Genuinely, congratulations to everyone who participated. By the way, I saw each and every piece. They were all so fucking good. They all deserve some love, but especially congratulations to the people in the top five. I'm very excited to read your work. Is there anything else that I need to mention? I have some stuff relating to me that I'd like to share. So during one of the trial episodes of Chapter 3, Raven let me know that I apparently said something in that trial that sort of like I don't know what the phrase I'd use is, but sort of set him off. Like it wasn't like it's hard to describe because he said it wasn't like a prediction or anything, but I said something that like with the context of what they know, what All and Raven know about the game and the future chapters, could be incredibly funny. So apparently, in one of these upcoming chapters, we're gonna get some like context for something that's gonna change the way like something I said in chapter 3 is gonna sound. Gonna recontextualize everything. I don't know if it's gonna be this chapter. The way he worded it made it seem like it's gonna be like a much later chapter, like chapter 5 or 6. It could be this chapter though. I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know what line it was that he was referring to. Dude, that's something we gotta find out like after the chapter comes out. I suppose because he did send me a request like, hey, can you send me your voice file for that one episode so I can make a meme for when the time comes. So I guess there's gonna be a meme at some point about it. Like I said, I don't know if it's this chapter or chapter 5 or 6, but I'm very curious. I'm very curious to what it is. I can't lie. So I thought I'd just bring it up now. Again, I have no idea what the fuck it could be. I actually like rewatched that whole episode to try and get like see if I could figure it out. See if any lines stood out to me as something that could maybe like be recontextualized in because of like a mastermind reveal or something like that, some big plot twist. And I couldn't think of anything. So we're gonna find out at some point, I guess, whether it be this chapter or a future chapter. I'm very curious what it is, though. The last thing that I want to bring up relating to me is that I might get referenced in this chapter? Question mark. I made a tweet about a different YouTuber, Emily is Emotional. They're currently also playing through Survivor's Guild or watching the videos anyway. They're doing some sort of like they're doing a let's play of the game, essentially. And so I made a tweet because like I was listening to the episode in the background at work, And it got to the scene where like all the YouTubers who played Live or Die are referenced, including me. So I made a tweet about how I got like a little taken off guard hearing my name come out of her mouth, and I, because I was at work just sort of not really paying super close attention, and I didn't realize what scene was coming up. So I heard my name, and I was like, did someone say my name? I like looked around. So I made a tweet about it because I thought it was funny. And Raven replied something along the lines of, "Well, you better be prepared for when she goes through chapter 4." And so obviously that piqued my interest. So I guess there's gonna be. So I guess I'm getting referenced at some point, which is always dope. I love that they think I'm cool enough to be referenced in their game. No, it really is like a super huge honor though. Like I'm still sometimes in shock that they even referenced me that first time. And I thought that was good, just gonna be it. Like I didn't think there'd be any more. I thought that was gonna be like the pinnacle of Evan references in Survivor's Guild, but apparently there's another one. Do you think someone who's playing this game will who doesn't like know like me or do you think there's gonna be someone who plays this game and doesn't really like know me at all? They're gonna like they're gonna like get through chapter 4 and be like, okay, this is the second time this Evan guy has been mentioned. Who the fuck is Evan? Well, they keep bringing up this Evan guy, so he seems kind of important. Maybe he's the mastermind. We'll see though. I'm guessing it's probably just gonna be like a one little line thing, like it was in chapter 1. Either way, still fucking cool as fuck though. I just don't know what the context would be. Is the thing. Unless it's another like world building scene about like content creators, and they use like the same list that they did in chapter 1, maybe, or even a different list that just also happens to include me. I don't know. That would be the only context I can think of. Oh, unless hold on, maybe it could. Do you think it could be Amy Coco related? I don't know how you'd fit that in the game. Actually, no, never mind. That's overthinking. I was just like, it would be kind of cool, but nah, it's probably not. Also, that would be Emily. That wouldn't be me. That'd be Emily, my avatar, not Emily, the YouTuber I was literally just talking about. It'd be her name, not mine. So no, yeah, it's definitely not Emmy Coco related. Stupid fucking Evan. Stupid. You just made such a fool of yourself. Raven did say he wanted to do something with Emmy Coco though, so like I'm not totally crazy. I just don't know what that thing is, because obviously it's gonna be a surprise. I'm guessing. I don't know. I wasn't even expecting him to even want to do anything with it because I just thought it was a silly little self ship, you know. And like in my mind, like I've been playing this whole game thinking like Kokoro and Kazuki were like supposed to be a couple, because like I know they did like they added like Anthony and his Yume ship with Sayori in the game, or Anthony's OC anyway. They made a little reference to him. But like at least with that they had like the excuse of like, it was original Sayori because Live or Die Sayori was with Katsuya and is also dead and a clone. So like, yeah, wouldn't really work in canon otherwise without that little excuse. But Kokoro doesn't have such conveniences, unfortunately. So in my head, it was always like, okay, well, Kokoro and Kazuki all like they're a couple. They're one of the couples in this game. I don't know. I just always got into my head that Emi Coco was probably never gonna be referenced. Even if it did have a chance, I wouldn't. Even if it did have a chance, I wouldn't really expect it to be referenced anyway. I just don't. I try. It feels. I just try not to expect things like that because it feels weird. Like even if it's not unusual for them to do that and reference their friends' Yume ships in these games, because that's like the second time it's happened with because Anthony's like the second time it happened. They referenced one with Ayaka too, for another friend of theirs. Like I don't know. I just try not to expect shit like that though, because it just feels weird. Like just because I'm like just because I'm like friends with the creator, like like put my silly little ship in your game, please. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. But yeah, for like various reasons, I was just like, I'm not really expecting Emi Kokoto would be referenced in this game. But Raven said he wanted to do something with it. I don't know what it is, but that's yeah, fucking cool, fucking cool. I listen, if you guys ever think I'm doing this just to get attention from the creators or whatever, I'm not. I'm doing it for the love of the game. I just really like Kokoro. Like I don't know what to tell you, man. She's just neat. I just think she's neat. I don't know. I just wanted to share my love for Kokoro. That's really all. I guess Raven has plans for something though. Again, it might not even be this chapter though. It might not even be like it might not even be like in a game thing, you know? Like I don't know what else they do, but I don't know. Again, I don't try to expect things, but Raven did comment on one of my videos saying he had an idea, and that's fucking dope. Whatever he ends up doing, I'm gonna fucking appreciate. Cause he doesn't have to do that shit, man. He really doesn't. I'm totally content just being like just to sitting over here and making his character kiss my character. Like I'm okay with doing that by my lonesome with with no one paying me any mind. Like the freak cousin at the family reunion. And in whatever way he references my name in this chapter again, I'm gonna be super grateful for it. Cause it's just really cool. It's just really cool. It's genuinely like it's genuinely just such a sweet like they're just so sweet for even thinking of putting me in their game in any way. Oh, and Raven legitimately are some of the coolest fucking people I've met online. Like I feel like I've said this before, but genuinely I can't stress it enough. Anyway, I feel like I talked about myself long enough. I feel like a narcissist. All that was a super rounded way of saying that I'm apparently gonna be mentioned at some point in this chapter. So I'm excited to see when. I'm excited to see where and when, and bonus points if it's Kokoro related. I think that's all I wanted to say though. So thank you guys for watching. Oh wait, my mastermind quote unquote theories. So like I said, I don't really have like strong theories on who I think is like running this game or anything. Like I don't know who like Nihil is or like their secret identity or anything like that. Or what that mysterious noise Sumire is hearing is, because I think that might be related to the mastermind in some way. There's definitely some sort of twist or link to that. But I do think I have an idea of two people who may be involved with this killing game somehow. The last chapter ended with a flashback. Um, it was two characters talking, and one of them referenced the fact that they were almost in this situation. They were almost in this killing game, and they could have ended up like it got cut off. This might be really obvious, but I do believe that those two people are probably Haruo and Daichi. Original Haru, live or die Daichi. And then Sho was obviously Shoma. I think they're involved in this in some way, shape, or form. I'm thinking maybe this could be like this game seems to be taking some stuff from Danganronpa 2 in some way and remixing it. So maybe it's sort of like in the same way like technically how Makoto, Kyoko, and Byakuya were involved in the killing game and Goodbye Despair, like as the overseers of the Neo World program. Maybe there's something like that going on, and it just got taken over by Monokirby or whoever, or maybe they're acting as like this game's version of like how Shuichi was in Live or Die, and is sort of trying to get everyone out of there. But unfortunately, he can't yet, so he's kind of just stuck watching all this despair happen. So yeah, I don't really know if they're masterminds, quote unquote, but I think they might have something to do with something. I mean, it's very vague, but I mean, I think that's what's going on. We don't have a lot of info. That's all we got to work with, man. I'm sorry. What do you want from me? This whole video is just me pulling shit out of my ass, like. There's gotta be a limit. Like I said, if the timing works out, the first episode of Survivor's Guild Chapter 4 should be out tomorrow on the day of release. Again, I hope I did my job right and I'm not a complete utter fuck up. But that's always a possibility. It's been a busy month, man. What can I say? I'm working more hours. I'm trying to spend more time with my IRL friends. I do apologize if video uploads have been a bit slower than usual. I am hopefully working on getting back to a daily schedule, somewhat soonish. Hopefully, I'm prepping a ton of videos in advance so that I can get like 2 weeks of videos out in a row, and then hopefully during those 2 weeks I can get another 2 weeks out, and something along those lines. Maybe 3 weeks. We'll see. Point is, if I did fuck up, I'm sorry. But if not, cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. And if there's anything I might have forgotten to say, I guess I can say it in the Survivor's Guild Chapter 1 video, or Chapter 4 Part 1 video, because I should be recording that in like a few hours, hopefully. Like I said, Raven did say he was going to give me an early copy today. Don't know what time, but we'll see. Again, highly appreciate it, Raven. Thank you very much. I'm sure I'll have tons of fun with the chapter, and rest assured, if you kill Kokoro, you will be hearing from me. And again, let me know if you like this format, because if there's ever a Fangan chapter I feel like I have a lot to say about, and I don't want to include like 30 minutes of me yapping in a video or whatever, or an hour, or however fucking long this video was, then I would love to do this again before more Fangan chapters. As sort of cool little bonuses to the main product, So those who want to hear me yap can do that. Those who just want to get into the gameplay, they can do that. I feel like I just yap a lot sometimes, and I do apologize for that. I just love hearing the sound of my own voice, pretty much. I mean, I feel like these videos are like the one time I really just get to talk. So I have trouble with that in my real life, I'm not this talkative IRL. I feel like these videos I can just be comfortable and be myself, So thank you for giving me that chance, guys. Anyway, this is getting weirdly emotional. I'm sorry. I just love you all. Give me a kiss. But yeah, I'd love to do more podcasty episodes of the Fangan series. And again, I have other ideas for future non-Let's Play Fangan videos. But for now, I should see you tomorrow for a regular Let's Play episode, Survivor's Guild Chapter 4. Super excited. I hope you all are looking forward to it too. Have yourselves a lovely day, everyone. And I will see you when I see you. I don't know why I waved. I actually physically waved like you could see me. What is wrong with me? You can't fucking see me. I'm recording a black screen right now. What the fuck is wrong with me?